Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, switches. The purpose of the switches screen is to allow the operator to view the control of the various system switches were formerly the physical switches, but are now integrated with the DC Evolution series of electrical control. For operating, pressing soft key position F7 the switch of the main operating screen, figure 35 and 33 and 35 will display the screen 1000, figure 3059, follow the railroad operating procedure of the operation. The active key brief description of the operation. Follow the press the soft key F1 DB will order the locomotive control system cut out. The dynamic braking function, the dynamic braking switch graphically will change the state. Alright, no, if the dynamic braking switch is cut off position upon the equip the dynamic brake control will be dropped drop power to idle with the forward the railroad regulation governing use of the switch. Pressing the key position F2 with the locked axle will order the locomotive control system cut out with the locked axle alarm function. Locks axle switch graphic will change the shape. And note before with the locked axle alarm using the switch to ensure that the wheels are rolling. Follow the railroad regulation regardless of the switch. Press the key position F5 for the power limit that will order locomotive control system to move the notch 7. The press the key position F7 the motor cut off the display with the 10 10 0 figure 60 the 14 solder keys active on the screen in this file with the key position F1 through F6 manually cut out with the faulty speed sensor. Alright, for speed sensor cut out with a note the following. The speed sensor do not need to be cut out around the cutout motors. So the speed sensor switches are usually to only cut out with the faulty sensor. However, the ensure the potential of the fault with not the indicating locked axle or successful wheel slip, etc. When a motor speed sensor cutout switch with figure 60 with the cutout position, the speed signal of the speed sensor is ignored. A status message appears with the smart screen display. A minimum of the 2 motor speeds must be operating for the locomotive to load. Pressing the keys position F7 the switches to translate the display back to the switch screen 1000. Press the key position F8 to return operating the main operating switch is 0,000. Caution: it is recommended the motor may be manually cut out with the engine control switch in the start and isolate position unit. Isolate with the fine power handle and idle. Pressing key positions 1 through 6 to manually cut out with the faulty traction motor. The status message applies appears with this smart screen below. Note for the traction motor cut out. Note the following: refer to the railroad specific rules for specific detailed operation under the emergency condition. The locomotive may be operated a short period of time with one more traction motor cut out. If an incident condition with excessive current too great with the rate of change with the and detect with the automatic cutout is done with the microcomputer control. Pressing key position F8 will return the screen the dynamic cutout switch of the function. If some of the reason dynamic braking function needs to manually cut out with the procedure follow with the smart screen to display with the rest of the key position F7 the switch of the main operating screen 1000 figure 3 with the switch screen with the will appear with the key position F1 with the dynamic braking order to control the system. Out the dynamic braking function. The dynamic braking switch graphic will change the state. If the dynamic braking switch is cut out of the position upon the request of the dynamic braking, the control will drop the idle will follow the railroad regulation governing either the switch. Load axle cutout switch function. Then before the silencing of the locked axle line will switch. Ensure the wheels are rolling. Follow the railroad regulation regardless of either the switch. To manually cut out the load axle arm proceed as follows. The smart screen display. Press the key F5 switches on the manual operating screen 0,000. Figure switches the screen will appear with the key position F2 with locked axle in order to control the setup. System cutout locks the axle arm function and the loaded axle switch gap to change the state. Alright, your power limit switch. Switch 8 has 2 positions normal and normals off and notch 7 on. Locomotive can shift the notch 8 and lead the unit with the shift the lipping excessively power limit switch can be moved to the notch 8 to reduce power while the trailing unit operating at the full power will reduce the track of effort lead the unit to usually improve the ability of the locomotive to hold the rail under the bad rail conditions unless otherwise directed of the railroad regulation. Ensure the power limit switch is normal in power position on all units before operating in the train. Alright, your distance counter. Introduction. The distance counter figure 61 the display with the distance traveled and achieve with the function allowed with the through the set of the reset of the reset of the counter, with the information of the counter, operate with the independent with the counter over the smart screen display. The counter counts up with the locomotive, moving the short hood forward and down with the locomotive, the reverse on left, the chain through the use of screen. Note that the smart screen has its own independent distance counter. Operator cannot access the control of the distance counter on another smart screen display. Note on power up the distance counter preset with the initial light with the 0 the distance counter mode. Always reset the counter up to the 0 state with the power up. Pressing the soft key 2 with the distance setup of the main operating screen, the more 0,000 figure 33, 35, 37 the display with the 1261 with the railroad operating procedure, the operating and active, the keep brief description operating as follows. Note the key position F4 and F6 with the round 5 of the preset and the cup out, up and down, but they're not available to distance counter activity. Pressing key position F4 with the modify the preset with the display with the on screen 1201. These keys are available on the screen with the top of the key I4 of the backspace will allow the remove with 1 digit per press the entry distance valve. The key position F7 and save the preset with the record and notify the control system the new distance preset valve with the screen will automatically return the distance counter set up with the 1200. Pressing key F8 cancel will return the operator distance counter screen with the 1200 without changing the distance counter preset value with no numeric value. Numeric key position active with the engine number to 1201. Key position position F key position F8 F5 distance start will control the distance counter as follows. Pressing the key 1 with the screen 00,000 will also control the distance counter as described. The distance relay with the screen 0 with the distance counter move with the counter up to 0 with the passing of the key with the man with the counter count to count up to 0 with the key will change with the distance stop with the press of the key again with the counter will stop. Key label will now read distance reset with the press again with the reset with the counter to 0 with the shuffle key will return the distance start with the distance play and the screen preset press preset value with the discount amount with the countdown with the down from the preset and the repressing the key will command with the command in order to cut down the preset key will change with the reading of the distance stop with the rest of the key and the counter stop will stop with the key label will now read the distance reset. Pressing the key again will reset the counter to preset with the shuffle key will return the distance start with the key position F6 will change with the distance counter mode with the counter down with the preset. Distance counter will reset the preset value with the key position. F6 will review the count up. The count up is then press the discount will reset with the 0 mode with the revert the count up with the restore preset unchanged. Key position F8 will return the operator to the main operating screen. This shows the distance counter setup screen. Another distance counter spread up screen. Alright, the measured mile. Introduction. The purpose of the measured mile function is to assist the operator with the conduction of the measured mile check. With the operation pressing soft key with the position key position 3 measured mile with the main operating screen with the 0,000 with the figure 35 and 33 and 35 with the display screen 1100 figure 3063. Rear operating procedure for this with the active key with the brief description of the operation is followed. The no accuracy test depends upon maintaining the constant speed throughout the measured mile. At the beginning of the measured mile with the rest of the F3 start mile the operator measures message already will read timing measured mile with the start mile button will change the stop mile if the test is running. Upon the end of the message the mile press F3 with the stop mile the computer will stop the test the computer the average speed. The stop mile button will change with the start mile after it's been pressed. The operator message will read average speed assuming the measured mile was xxx point xx miles an hour. X will return the operator main operating screen if the measured mile is progress, they will keep read cancel. Note if cancel is the timing and progress of the measured mile function will be canceled. The measured mile cancel will appear. The main operating screen 0000 will appear. Alright, your auto engine start and stop. Introduction. Auto engine start and stop system enhances the fuel saving while the system activates. Shut the diesel engine down during the period of the inactive the system monitor certain of the parameters restart of the engine as needed. Auto engine start and stop with the diesel engine may start and stop without the auto operator intervention. Warning: the locomotive equipped with the auto engine start and stop with the diesel may start without operation. Exercise with caution when working with around the diesel engine traction alternator radiator cab. Should the auto engine start and stop disabled before any maintenance for the locomotive, failure to do so may result in a diesel injury, death, or serious personal injury. No, locomotive the auto engine start and stop identified with the warning decals applied with the operating cab. They have several located for the exterior. Note the auto engine start and stop system disabled the distributed power and active the diesel engine will shut down automatically when during the active and inactivity periods. Powered operation movement. The locomotive preventing the auto engine start and stop. The system shutting down with the diesel engine for the maximum auto engine start and stop shut down time is 90 minutes to 210 minutes. Depending on the aim of the temperature, the oil temperature, the maximum of the engine shut down 24-hour period. Auto engine start and stop begin shutting down with the process indicator with the stop and progress of the process aboard the 3 consecutive times. The auto engine start and stop become with the active for 24 hours. No auto engine stop start and stop active at the time shut down display with the alarm bell bar. Auto engine start and stop suspended enable the operator to postpone suspend pending shutdown for 2 hours pressing the release of the auto stop override push button. Item figure 29 figure 9 with with the engine control panel locomotive and the auto engine stop suspend only the following actions can cancel suspended move. Move the combined power handle to the idle. Move the reverse right handle to the center. Release the independent auto pendant brakes. Move the movement of the locomotive raise the barrier bar. Any of the locomotive restrictions entering self-load and self-test and setting of the engine control switch to jog if equipped and pressing the auto stop override push buttons twice for 30 seconds will shut down the engine after 1 minute. Caution: when locomotive is in an auto engine start and stop shutdown condition, certain actions will deactivate the auto engine start and stop system, requiring a manual engine start. It happens to either start the diesel engine manually or shut down the locomotive according to railroad operating procedures. Open the battery switch, and this action necessary to prevent the draining of the locomotive batteries. The following action will deactivate the auto engine starting stopping system. Remove the barrier bar, move the locomotive, use the dialing function, leave the engine control switch for the diag position, enter the diagnostic self-test mode, press engine stop switch on the engine start stop switch. Automatic shutdown is in process. The operator is able to view the information automatic engine start stop switch. The automatic engine start stop switch of the main operating screen will display in figure 000 of figure 65. With the automatic engine start stop switch as active, the main operating screen will display the 000 figure 66. Operation: the active key for the brief description of the operation. Valve with the rest of the key 3 with the auto start and stop of the auto engine start and stop switch is actively displayed in 43 11 and 0 figure 67. Pressing the key figure F8 axis will close the auto engine stop and start and stop display. Activating auto engine start and stop system. Auto start and stop system is automatically activated when the locomotive control is powered up as long as the following conditions are met. Engine control switch is in any position except jog. If equipped, there is no current locomotive restriction, and the barrier bar is closed. Figure 67 shows the auto engine start and stop status screen. All traction motor speed sensors and function locomotive is not self-test and is not in self-test or self-load. No auto engine start and stop will not restart the engine after the manual shutdown. Deactivating the auto engine start and stop system. Any of the following actions will deactivate the auto engine start and stop system. Starting the BCB brake circuit, brake charging circuit breaker to off the engine control panel. Raise the barrier bar. Place the engine control switch in the jog position. Entering locomotive in self-test mode. Pressing the engine stop switch for the locomotive in the automatic shutdown period will not deactivate the auto engine start stop switch. Condition the automatic shutdown. These conditions must exist 10 minutes prior to the automatic engine shutdown. The auto engine start and stop permissions of certain locomotive system parameters are within limits. The reverser is in the center position. The combined power is in the idle position. Brake cylinder pressure is greater than 22 psi. Locomotive speed is 0 with the auxiliary cap doors and bars down. Condition of the automatic startup. Start with the smart display screen must display the auto engine start control active. The engine auto stopped indicator automatic startup to take place. The engine startup start and stop trigger. Some locomotive system parameters outside of the limit of the automatic startup. Release the locomotive brake and moving the reverse handle to the center will also initiate the automatic startup. In either case, the engine start will occur as long as the following conditions are also met. The engine stop was from an automatic shutdown. Engine control switch does not remain in the jog position. Automatic shutdown. Barrier bar remains closed during the automatic shutdown period. In self-test mode has not been used. The auto engine start stop switch smart display messages. The following messages may appear with the operative message line with the smart display. Center reverser handle the meaning center of the reverse handle. Auto engine stops of the MMM and auto stop may occur. Conditions outranged with the auto stop pending. Auto stop is impending due to locomotive conditions. Auto stop in process. Auto stop is start in process. Auto engine start control active. The auto start is possible. Auto start is in process. Auto engine start and stop in the engine. Auto start is possible. Manual start required. Auto engine start and stop is stopped in the engine due to the locomotive. The auto engine start and stop false or auto start is possible. Auto start and the stop not active. The auto stop is not possible. Please keep the notch and idle. Keep the notch and idle for auto stop. All right. Your auto engine start and stop smart display alarm bar indicator will be illuminated whenever the auto engine start and stop is inactive. Currently the auto engine start and stop system status is summarized by no indicators inactive. The auto stop hours, minutes, seconds. Auto stop may occur within hours, minutes, or seconds. Auto stop pending. Auto stop pending. Stop in process. Auto engine stop in progress. Engine auto stop. Auto engine start is control is active. The start in process. Auto engine start is in process. Manual start required. Manual start is required. Auto engine start and stop. Reverser. All conditions of the auto stop sequence have been met except for the reverser handle being in the off center. Auto engine start and stop throttle. All conditions of the auto stop sequence have been met except for the combined power handle is not being in idle. Alright, your auto engine start and stop bells and warnings. Auto engine start stop provided with a warning operating maintenance with the personnel with the automatic engine start stop about to occur. The bell also sounds indicate auto engine start and stop. Air conditioning, the auto engine start and stop warning bell located the outside rear of the wall auxiliary cab near the traction motor on the operator's side of the locomotive. It is not, but the bell rings and the operator cab rings. 36 for the engine running. Automatic shutdowns to occur. Periodic ringing rings from 1 second to at 5-minute interval. Locomotive is an automatic shutdown period. Ring for the rings for 30 seconds while the engine is not running. Automatic start is about to occur. Rings for 30 seconds while the non-auto engine start stop action occur for the auto engine start system transition from enabled to disabled from disabled to enabled. Alright, your main reserve drains valve of the auto engine start and stop required with the use of electrically controlled pneumatically activated main reserve drain valve. The drain valve to allow moisture to be removed the main reserve during the auto engine start and stop of the engine shut down with the drain valve that deactivated maximize fuel save and refer air brake equipment. Other equipment sections of the main location of the main reserve drain valve and the drain valve magnet valve. Alright, speed controls. Introduction. The speed control figure 68 enable the operator chain with which both of the smart screen display the main operating of the 0,000 display operator may also use the smart screen display brightness and gain access higher operating level within the screen. No operator display show the gauge which acts as the locomotive operating display, which do not act as the human machine interface display auxiliary displays. Alright, operating. Pressing the key, soft key with the screen control with the main operating screen with the 0,000 with the figure 33, 35, and 37 with the main operating screw, the main menu, the figure 34, 36, and 38. Display figure 36, 68, the railroad operating procedure of the operation activate with the keys brief description operation file. The key position F2 with the down arrow will scroll down with the main operating screen location with the choice at the bottom will wrap the top. Not available in auxiliary display. Press the key position F3 up the arrow will scroll the main operating screw location choices at the top that will wrap at the bottom. Not available in auxiliary display. Press the key position F5 of the password will display the 3100 figure 69 5 keys available on the screen. Note the screen is used to gain access with a different operating level does not need the level 1 operating key position F4 F5 backspace will allow to remove the 1 digit per pass with the enter press password value. The key position F7 accept the verify the control system validated enter password. Note the gaining access with the higher operating level of 1 smart display will automatically change the operating level of the smart display. Press the key position F8 will return the operator screen control scene setup screen and will without changing the operator path for the numeric key position for the enter for the number of 3100. Pressing the key position F8 will return the operator main screen with the main operating screen or menu without a change the main operating screen location if the setup has not been saved. 5. Pressing the key position 3 will save setup will save the setup notify the control system of the new smart system choices for the local operating display. And this shows your operator password changes screen. And we're almost done. Alright, your data download introduction. Data download screen enable the operator to download event log with a trip monitor log and other information for the smart display with the maintenance facility with the operating could do not remove the hard cover of the data, but the download doing so may cover the smart screen to lock up the requiring reboot the locomotive with the control system computers. Pressing the south key with the F2 tab with the main operating screen with the more of the figure 34, 36, 38 display the 9000 file railroad operating procedure for this operation. Active the key with the brief description of operation file with the key F1 with the down arrow will scroll down through the log destination choices F at the bottom right to the top. Alright, pressing key F2 with the upward scroll will scroll with the log with the destination choice at the top will wrap to the bottom. Then pressing the key F4 with the reef the cover the take of the operator with the screen 9000 to reef the hard card with the operator into the PCMCIA with the slot record right with the smart display screen. Key F8 will return the operator's main operating screen more than menu. Your trip monitor introduction. Trip monitor section provides an operator with trip recorded time speed spent in some throttle idle and dynamic braking figure for 72. Trip monitor is available with the human machine interface display auxiliary display. Only one trip monitor per locomotive can be viewed at any given time. Alright, trip monitor operation. Press the soft key with the F6 with the trip monitor with the main operating screen with the more menu figure with the 36 to 38 with the display with the figure 72 with the railroad operating procedure with this operation. Activate the key in the brief description of the operation files. Press key position F6 with the initiate with the trip monitor prop with the first 2 row with the tab at the top of the screen, the R and left with the previous trip that has been recorded. Pressing the key with the F6 with the file with the current time with the tab location and alternate with the F6 soft key with the stop. Second row is filled with data all data via value with the table that are initialized with 0. The message of the trip in progress will appear within the trip start of the stop. The press second row will be filled with the current date and time location. The key will be changed to the start. Our trip monitor accumulate with the time that's appropriate to the row based on locomotive status until the stop key is pressed with the F6 stop key with the chain for the start with the data updating with the second row is filled with the current time and data location information key position F8 that will return the operative to the main operating screen. More menu this is 0001 0000. The trip monitor will continue to stop is pressed on screen 4500. To note the trip monitor data may be downloaded as a trip report file from the data download screen. Alright, your locomotive monitor. Introduction. Locomotive monitor screen provided by the operator continual updated information surveying the parameters regarding the overall locomotive performance. Pressing the soft key F7, locomotive monitor figure 34, 36, 38 will display 4000, figure 73, following the railroad operating procedure. The reason the active key with the brief description operators follow. Passing the key 1 and pressing key F1 for either the order locomotive control system. All dead and stop and information updating process on the screen. Key position F1 will now read assume. Press resume to order the control system that will once again update continually screen information. Note monitoring portion of the gauge data will continue to update. P position F8 exists will return the operator to more menu screens. Locomotive monitor. There you go. Alright, the tractive effort amps converter that are provided for 42-inch wheels. Alright, Mom, I'm done now.